What's the good word, y'all? Welcome to New York Jets Syndicate channel. It's your boy DKB here. And if you're wondering kind of which way it seems like we may be leaning with the 13th overall pick between all of the mock trades from not just fans but experts out there, I have an update for you guys. So it looks like at 13, the most selected option based on NFL draft simulations is going to be offensive tackle Paris Johnson Jr. from Ohio State. And this makes sense on a number of levels, especially considering that he looks like he's going to be available there at 13. If you want to go solely based off these mock drafts, Peter Skoronski generally going ahead of him, leaving the other, big guys, Paris Johnson, Broderick Jones, as guys that may be available for the Jets at 13, especially with a projected run at quarterback early on, maybe a sneak pick or two like Jackson Smith-Njigba that maybe goes ahead, small run on cornerback. So this is a very likely scenario for us, and again, it makes a ton of sense if you just want to go through some of the basic measurements and kind of baseline expectations from a guy like Paris Johnson, 6'6", 313 pounds. He's coming from Ohio State, a program that's known for being able to crank out what feels like championship rosters year in and year out, and seeing Paris Johnson protect the blind side of a guy like C.J. Stroud for a while, which he has enough maneuverability to go out there and be able to utilize his legs in the offense. But if you want to translate that to a guy like Aaron Rodgers, it's somewhat similar. Doesn't tend to use his legs a whole lot, but he can go out there and make it work for him to keep the chains moving and different things of that nature. So you're not talking about a huge transition in terms of having to block for a guy like a Lamar Jackson, for example. So you love to see what's happening there. A lot of people have debated if him or Peter Skoronski is actually the best pass blocking tackle out there in general. So that would be great news for a team that's looking to build a wall in front of Aaron Rodgers and, of course, whoever the future quarterback ends up being down the line. And then you're talking about a guy that still has enough upside. He's not physically peaked out or anything like that. He has definitely a lot of untapped potential, and seeing a guy like Keith Carter come in who's been able to go out there and put together top 5 rushing attacks, you feel good in both facets of the offense. He can come in and pass protect right away. He can develop his his running prowess within this offensive line, especially when you want to think about him being lined up next to a Laken Tomlinson if he has a bounce back season, or an Elijah Vera Tucker if Mekhi Becton wins the early battle and Paris Johnson slides over to the right. You're also talking about a guy that has a lot of tremendous ability to be versatile, right? He's played guard, he's played right tackle, he's played left tackle. So this is a pick that if you want to tackle, you should absolutely feel excited about. Nonetheless, there's not a clear-cut number one guy in this draft, and so to get a guy that could potentially still come out and dominate right away in the trenches and then still go out and maybe be an all-pro for us for a couple years over the next 10 to 15, with him being a possible long-term answer at left tackle if Mekhi Becton can wash away these injury concerns. It'd be a brilliant move by the New York Jets to be able to pull off, especially if we don't need to trade up for a guy of his services. And this would only make Aaron Rodgers happy, knowing the amount of resources that we poured into him, having a number one wide receiver in Garrett Wilson, having a number one running back in Breece Hall, you have an above average tight end in Tyler Conklin, you have a wall in front of you. Even if you're not confident in some of these guys staying on the field, you walking into the building and seeing a Mekhi Becton in front of you to keep you from hitting the dirt has to feel great. So I'd be excited to see Paris Johnson get added to this list. For record, though, so you guys kind of are aware of some of the other options that we've seen mocked to us quite a bit. We've seen Nolan Smith, the edge prospect, as the next highest. We've seen Broderick Jones after that, and then it gets a little crazy with Jackson Smith-Njigba, and then Bijan Robinson being some of the guys that have been mocked. And again, this is all coming based on ESPN NFL Draft Simulator. So this is just one of them, but they have used a lot of different resources, draft experts, drafting grades, all of those kind of things. And a lot of those selections aren't crazy out there. I've seen Nolan Smith already mocked. I've seen JSN mocked for quite some time in terms of replacing Elijah Moore especially. But yeah, I'm curious. Let me know where your guys' heads are with this. If we have our options of tackles at 13, let's say nobody comes off the board, is Paris Johnson your number one guy? And then beyond that, if he's just available, are you running to the podium, or is there another guy that you're giving strong consideration to? I'll catch you guys again, though. Appreciate it. Peace.